Hi, and welcome to Lesson 3. This is Financial Algebra, Chapter 1, Section 1, Day 1. In the May of 2012, Facebook underwent an IPO. That's an initial public offering where stock was offered to the public. Since that time, the stock declined before it rebounded. Could it be because of its ticker? Facebook's ticker name is FB, and it appears that a pronounceable ticker name leads to stock market success. For instance, Yum Brands, YUM, is Pepsi, has been up 762% since 1997. Love, which is Southwest Airlines, LUV, is up 9% this year. Facebook held its initial public offering in May 18th, 2012, and was seen as one of the biggest IPOs in tech and internet history. The stock fell as soon as it opened, however, and the share prices crashed more than 50% over the next couple of months. It took more than a year for the shares to trade at above the $38 listing price. People were concerned that the revenue from ads would not be as great as they thought. 3 years ago, Facebook traded at 85.72. Last year, it traded at 187.20, and it now, as of today, trades at 248.15. Facebook's initial drop probably had to do with traditional investors doubting that they could get enough revenue from this new type of business, and had no bearing at all on whether you could pronounce their stock listing number. All right, please set up your spiral notebooks in this fashion. We are always going to take notes in the Cornell format. Today's title is 1-1, the stock market business organization, if you want to go into detail. Make sure you do write a 1024/7 over here in the left-hand corner. We'll use that. So today you're going to do something like 1-1, the stock market. Sorry, the program wouldn't let me write up there. All right, here's the next few sections, just if you want to look ahead. We're going to do business organization this week. We're going to do data following stock market data charts, following it, and simple moving. Here are the chapters after. Business organization. Our objective today is to learn the basic vocabulary of business organizations and to compute the financial responsibility of business ownership based on ratios and percents. Aha, percents. That made sense. I want you to read pages 2, 3, 4, and 4. It says aloud in a group. Obviously, you can't do that if you're at home alone. Read through to example 1. Write down these definitions in your spiral notebook: capital, profit, corporation, shares of stock, and public corporation. Write any notes you find important as well. Here are links that I'm not sure are going to work for you to the PDF of Chapter 1 in our textbook. It's also a link to the glossary of our textbook because some people like the definitions for the words in the glossary. What you'll find is that all the words that I give you are defined in the 2 or 3 pages I give you to read. But some folks don't like that. They like something a little more concise, so they like to look to the glossary. Here is the first page. I'm going to move through these. You, at home, need to stop your video and read, and then start it again for the next page. Here's page 3. Again, stop your video, read your page, move to the next page. Here is page 5. Has some of the definitions that I talked about earlier. Profit, right there. Corporation, right there. Shares of stock, right there. Public corporation, right there. So, again, stop the video to read your page, and then start. Here is example 1, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But let's just talk about it for a second. Michelle invests $15,000 in a partnership that has 4 other partners. The total investment of all the partners is $240,000. What percent of the business does Michelle own? Here is a copy of the glossary. This is going to have the definitions of that I asked you to define. Capital. Here is corporation. Here is profit and public corporation. And finally, shares of stock. Again, stop the video if you want. If not, just keep going. All right, example 1. Michelle invests $15,000 in a partnership that has 4 other partners. What percent does she own? Well, to determine that, we have to set up a division problem to get a decimal that we can turn into a percent. So, the first thing I have to do is I have to write down 15,000 divided by 240,000. When I do that, what I get, I plug that into my calculator. At home, you can use Desmos.com if you don't have a handheld calculator at home with you. They have great calculators. You want to click on scientific calculator. That's what we're using for this. 15000 divided by 24000. That equals 0.0625. And what do I have to do to a decimal to turn it into a percent? That's supposed to be a times sign. If you said multiply by 100, you are correct. So this equals 6.25%. Please get that down in your spirals, and we will go to the next example. All right, says Kyle, this is a check your understanding. Kyle invests $20,000 in a partnership that has 5 other partners. The total investment of the partners is $160,000. What is owned by the 5 other partners? So determine, first of all, what Kyle owns. Again, 20,000 divided by 160,000. What does that equal? 0.125. How do we figure out what that is? As a percentage, we multiply times 100, and we get 12.5%. So we have to figure out what the other guys own, and Kyle owns 12.5%. How could we do that? Well, anything has only 100%. We go 100 minus 12.5%. And what do you get? If you said 87.5%, you are today's lucky winner. Get that down, and we'll go to the next example. All right, example 2 says the total number of shares of stock in the Bulls Corporation is $650,000. Mike owns 12% of the shares. How many shares of the Bulls Corporation stock does he own? Well, we have to take 650,000 And we turn that 12% into a decimal. So, what is 12% as a decimal? When I go to a decimal, I divide by 100, which equals 0.12. Remember, all decimals of percentages are going to be less than 1. 1.0 is 100%. So 0.12, that's going to be 12%. Now, we could set up a ratio and cross-multiply and get all kinds of weird stuff, but here's the easiest way to do this problem. You take your 0.12 and you multiply times $650,000, and like magic, it comes up with the correct answer, $78,000. Get that down and we'll go to the next slide. Stop the video if you must. All right, check your understanding. Jillian owns 60% of stock in a private catering corporation, and there are 1,200 shares in the entire corporation. How many shares does Jillian own? We have to take this percentage and turn it into a decimal. 60 divided by 100 equals 0.6 or 0.60, either way. Then we take that and we multiply. I can't tell you how many students I have that start dividing as soon as they get this 0.6. You don't want to do that. You multiply. 0.6 times 1200. What does that equal? You got your handy dandy decimals calculator out to determine that? She owns 720 shares. All right, get that down. And we'll move on to our next slide. Example 3. 3 partners are investing a total of $900,000 to open a garden and a landscaping store. Their investments are in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 5. How much does the partner that invested the least contribute? All right, ratios. First thing you need to do in ratios is to add them up for a total. That tells you how many parts. So, 2 plus 3 plus 5 equals 10. There are 10 parts in this rational or ratio relationship. Now, I take 900,000 and I divide it by 10. And of course, that equals 90,000. So that's one part. That equals one part. That is not the answer to our question. It says, how much does the partner that invested the least contribute? That's going to be this guy right here, 2. So, one part is 90,000, so we go 90 times the number of parts he has, which is 2, and we get $180,000. You got to determine how many parts there are in a ratio before you proceed. And then, don't be the person that stops here when they discover what one part equals. If you put down $90,000 for the answer for this question, you have been wrong, right? There are 2 parts in the least owner. So we would multiply whatever that one part is times the amount of parts they have. Get that down. We're going to go to the next question. It says 2 partners are starting a wedding planning business, and the total investment is $45,000. Their investments are in a ratio of 4 to 5. How much does each investor contribute? Add the ratios. Four plus 5, some high-level math there, but I believe that equals 9. Now I take $45,000 and I'm going to divide that by 9. Use your Desmos calculator to tell you what 45000 divided by 9 equals, and it should tell you that it equals 50,000. How much does each investor contribute? Well, the way we figure that out is 4 times 50,000 is 200,000. Excuse me, 20,000. This is 5,000, not 50,000. Shame on me. All right. So that means that this is 4 times 5,000, which is what? If you said 20,000, you're correct. The other partner had 5 parts, so he contributed 25,000. There's the minor investor, there's the major investor. Get that down. We're almost done. All right, go back over and underline or highlight any important information in your notes. Once you've done that, circle your 10. And remember, people who take Cornell notes retain 90% of the information compared to people who do not take notes. All right, here's your homework. In your interactive notebook, actually, I don't want you to do it in your interactive notebook. You're welcome to write it down on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and send it in to me. But there is a Google Forms assignment in this module. It's called worksheet number 3, and it has questions 2 through 6 on it from page 7 in our textbook. And submit that to me. Here, copy of the questions, which you can stop the video and look at if you like. However, recall that the questions are written down on the assignment as well. So, have a great day. Thanks for being with me today, and we'll see you next time.